What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm bringing you guys my prediction for the Atlantic Division. I've done my predictions for the Pacific and the Central. So if you guys want to see that, I'll have a link in the top of the description. You guys go over and take a look. I give you guys my rankings. I've been getting some hate already. I'm recording this after I uploaded my Pacific one. I've been getting some interesting feedback about my rankings for the Pacific Division, which is fine. It is all fun. I'm just giving you guys my thought. I'm shooting for the dark on some of them. I want to see how many at the end of the season I can get right. So that involves, I think, taking some risks on some of my predictions. Before we get further into the video, though, as always, if you guys are new to the channel, it means a lot if you guys subscribed. Only about 60% of you guys who watch this video are subscribed. So the other 40%, what are you doing? Please hit the subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. And like the video if you enjoyed. Alright, let's get into it. So in 8th place in the Atlantic Division, I have the Buffalo Sabres. I think there's absolutely no doubt in my mind Buffalo finishes last in the Atlantic Division and potentially even last in the whole entire league. They got a rough team over there. There's not much to talk about. Jack Eichel's not going to play for them. And they pretty much have an AHL team playing in the NHL. I feel bad for players who want to do well on Buffalo. I don't know what the future of Buffalo is. It's honestly quite tough. And I personally feel really bad for Buffalo and the fans of Buffalo. It's tough scenes over there. And yeah, Buffalo definitely finishes last. In 7th, I have the Detroit Red Wings. I do think Detroit plays better or around maybe the same as they did last year. I do still see them coming in second last in the division. They're just slowly progressing. This could be a big breakout year for some players in Detroit who actually I think will improve and play better. It also sucks that Jacob Vrana is out for some of the start of the season, I believe, which hurts them quite a bit too, even if they wanted to try to come out of the gate strong and have a good push. Now their best player is, or one of their best players is hurt, so that kind of sucks for them. But Detroit definitely, I still think, you'll see some improvement from certain individual players, but it's just not going to be enough to get them further than second last in the division. This might be a bit of a hot take, but in 6th place, I have the Montreal Canadiens. I don't think the Montreal Canadiens are going to play as well this year as they did last year. And truthfully, I could just be crazy putting them in 6th place. But for some reason, my gut is telling me that the team ahead of them is going to finish ahead of them. I don't know what it is. I just think Montreal is going to have a pretty lackluster season. If Carey Price is back, I'm not sure what's going on with that situation. But if he's here to start the season, maybe they'll be okay. Carey Price is he just fluctuates. He's good and then he's not. He's good and then he's not. So it's really tough to predict what's going to happen with the Montreal Canadiens. But I do think they overachieved last year, especially in the playoffs. And I just don't see that necessarily happening again this year. So that's why I put them there. In 5th place, I have the Ottawa Senators. Now, this is kind of bold for me to pick Ottawa ahead of Montreal. They're honestly interchangeable. I wouldn't be surprised if Ottawa finished below Montreal. Montreal finished one above Ottawa. But for my gut, I'm going Ottawa above Montreal here. And I think Ottawa takes the 5th spot in the Atlantic Division. I just see so many young talent on Ottawa, and I just don't see how they don't improve off of last year. Batherson played well. Josh Norris, Brady Tkachuk, if he signs, of course. A lot of this depends if he does sign. Stützle, Chabot, I just think Ottawa has a very exciting future and has a big future ahead of them. And I think some of it, the improvements, you will see next year. For 4th place in the Atlantic, I have the Boston Bruins. And I think the Boston Bruins make the playoffs in the 4th position. So I'm not saying the Bruins are not a playoff team. They are a playoff team in my opinion. This Atlantic Division, the top part is very, very good. So I do think they are a playoff team. I just see them coming in 4th in the Atlantic Division. I really like Boston. I worry about goaltending, Tuukka Rask, how well he can do. Their goaltending to me is just the biggest question mark. It scares me. Their defense a little bit scares me as well. They don't have the best defense. And it comes to players showing up. I mean, we know what we're going to get from their top line, but it really comes down to Taylor Hall, how well he's going to play. I like Taylor Hall in Boston, and I'm really glad he signed a kind of longish term deal in Boston. That's awesome. But it comes down to Charlie Coyle, how well he plays. He's probably going to be the second line center. So, and he had a pretty lackluster season last year. So it really does come down to how he plays. And Jake DeBrusk. If Jake DeBrusk can play well, I think Boston will also play well. But he's kind of one of those guys too that just gets hot and then cold. So it's kind of hard to gauge, but I do got them in 4th. In third in the Atlantic, I have the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think Toronto is just a really good regular season team. Like, I think these top 3 teams in the Atlantic are probably going to be, they could potentially be the top 5 teams in the NHL. Like, that's just how good this division is, the top part. I think Toronto is one of those teams that's just going to ride quite easily in third in this division. The top 4 teams, I think, are just comfortable, easy top 4 teams in the division, and the bottom 4 are just comfortable bottom 4s. But yeah, it's not much to say. Toronto's just a really good regular season team. It really does depend on how they play in the playoffs. I don't know what we're going to get. If I was going with my gut, I would like to say they're going to improve, because how many times can you not, essentially? Like, how many times can they actually play bad? It's got to end eventually, and maybe it is this year. Who knows? Maybe they win a playoff series finally, but I do have them third in the division. In second in the division, we have the defending 2-time Stanley Cup champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning. I do think they finished second in the division. They're very, very good still, but they have lost some depth pieces, some key depth pieces that I think are the reason they played so well and won the cup. Blake Coleman, I think, was a huge reason, same with Barclay Goodrow, on why they were able to win the cup. That third line they had played big shutdown minutes for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they lost that. So that hurts them a lot. Like, their probably projected lines are to have Corey Perry on your third line. I don't think Corey Perry anymore is a third line player. He's a fourth liner. So we'll see how that goes. Tampa Bay is going to have some of their young guys jump up and help with the secondary scoring, because they've lost some of that. They still have their top 2 lines, which are very solid. But as far as their third and fourth line, some of those young guys are going to have to step up. And then first in the Atlantic, and in my opinion, first in the entire league, is the Florida Panthers. And I think this is the year the Florida Panthers go on a run. Whether they make it to the Stanley Cup final, I don't think that'll happen, or they make it to the conference final, I think could happen. The Florida Panthers are a nasty team, and I think adding Sam Reinhart is probably one of the most underrated pickups that a team has made in the offseason. He played actually fairly well for a terrible Buffalo Sabres team. I believe, what was it, roughly, I could be off a little bit, but 40 points in 50 games, roughly. And playing on that terrible Buffalo team, that is incredible. I think he's going to have a career year on Florida. If he plays with Barkov and Huberdeau, he's looking at a point per game, if not better season with that team. I think Florida's just going to light it up next year. They have the team to do so, the defense to do it. It comes down to Bobrovsky, how well he can play, and I think he'll be all right. So thank you guys so much for watching. That is my Atlantic Division's rankings. Let me know your guys' opinions down in the comments. All opinions are welcome. Let me know how shitty I did or how good I did. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you guys are new. Like the video if you enjoyed. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.